Going on today, guys? Samurai War 17 here, bringing you another video. Today I really wanted to talk about what is Warframe. The question, what? I already did the why in a previous video. If you haven't checked that out, I do highly recommend checking that out. It's just my top 10 reasons on why I think you should play Warframe. But today I wanted to go over the what is Warframe. You know, it could be a very vague question when asked, what is Warframe? What is Warframe? So I'm going to do my best to explain to you what I believe Warframe is, how it's changed me, why I still play it to this day, all that stuff. So if you're here for the long run, I appreciate it. If you've been watching my videos, I also appreciate that. Don't forget to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already to the channel. So let's get into it. So what is Warframe? What is Warframe? What is Warframe? Well, in the front side of things, Warframe's just a looter shooter, right? It's just this game where you go and you get to shoot things and you loot things. That's why they call them looter shooters. Now, there's much more to it. It's not just this game where you can just sit here and, you know, shoot a bunch of things, look for red numbers, the red crits, we call them. More than that. You have these suits of armor as they're being shown here between Volt Mag and Excalibur. These suits of armor that you get to collect throughout the game. Now, I do want to mention, and I'll probably mention this a couple times, it's a free game. 100% free. Some people might argue that the game is not completely free because there is somewhat of a paywall for certain things. And I do agree, there is certain things that will kind of like force you to pay. But I'm not here to talk about, you know, all the ins and outs of the currency of the game. I really just want to explain to you what Warframe is, because maybe you're looking for a new game. You know, maybe you're bored, you're tired of playing the same game over and over again, and you want to look for something fun. And that's kind of my goal with this video, is to, you know, make it sound interesting, make it sound fun. It truly is. And this has probably been my favorite game that I've ever played in my lifetime. You know, maybe outside of like the nostalgia of Pokemon, or, you know, maybe some of the Nintendo 64 games growing up, because that's kind of how I got started personally. But in this, in this day and age now where I'm at, with all the graphics, with all the capability we have doing, I mean, we have virtual reality. That's a thing now, which is crazy. You know, it used to be a joke, it used to be a meme, and now the memes come to life. So let's get back into what Warframe is. So you have these suits of armors that you get to wear and customize, whether it's customizing the look of the character, customizing the strategy of the character in terms of, hey, do I want this character to be super powerful? Do I want this character to have a lot of shields? Do I want this character to just output so much damage that it's insane, or be the fastest character on the map? There's so much customization when it comes to Warframe, and I think that's what kind of sets it apart from, let's say a Destiny, for example, right? I think Destiny is one of the closer games in terms of Warframe as far as what it brings, outside of, Destiny having raids where, yeah, there's like mini raids in Warframe. There's not like the legit, like full 5-step process raid runs. In a way there kind of is, but they're not as difficult, they're not as challenging as the ones that Destiny bring, which I think that's something that might be missing from this game, if I'm being completely honest. I think if they are able to come out with a raid system, like they kind of do, there's a couple that, you can't just jump into this game and do. You actually have to grind hours and hours in this game to be able to do like Eidolon hunts, if you want to do all 3 of the Eidolons. Which, if you don't know what Warframe is, if some of the things I'm saying that it don't make sense, don't pay too much attention to it. I'm just trying to get the point across of what Warframe is really. you know, and it's really an adventure. You know, it's something that you pick up one day and you're like, what the heck is this? You play a mission, you're like, I have no idea what just happened. And then maybe you never play it again for a couple years. That's actually truly and honestly what happened to me. I picked this game up. I played a mission because, you know, it was on the marketplace. It was free. I was like, you know what? Let me try it out. Let me see what's up. Tried it out. Saw what's up. I was like, I have no idea what just happened. This was when the game first came out back in 2013, mind you. And a couple years went by. I saw a couple people playing it, and I was like, hey, I remember that game. I never really fully understood it. So actually, I was able to. Here, let me mute this real quick because it's just gonna be myself talking over myself. I just wanted some background, and this is the first video I posted of my Let's Play. So, like I said, if you're following along the series, I do appreciate it. If you haven't followed along the series, I do recommend it, especially if you're a newer player. I try to give my most honest feedback, tips, and tricks that I can bring to you that are available. But sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. But with Warframe, so when it first came out, I had no idea what I was getting into. A couple friends started playing it. I looked more into it. I finally figured out, okay, this is what the game's all about. They did have something cool that they don't necessarily do anymore, where they used to partner with Amazon Prime. And, you know, if you were one of the, I guess I would say like founders of the game, you know, if you played way back in the day, they used to come out with Prime packs. And if you had Amazon Prime, you could actually get free Prime Warframes, which are other suits of armor. You know, for example, Excalibur. Excalibur has an Excalibur Prime version of himself, which is just aesthetically a cooler looking version. There are a few minor differences, whether it be like a little bit of a boost to energy, maybe sometimes it's, you know, certain stats and stuff like that. But that's, you know, that's kind of the fun of Warframe. And that's, you know, essentially what Warframe is. Now, there's still a lot more to this game to unpack. It's not just, you know, this and that. And I know I'm kind of contradicting what I just said in terms of that's really what Warframe is. There's really actually a lot more to it. The game on the outside, and I've noticed, you know, from a couple videos that I've posted, I've talked about, you know, why I love this game and the complexity of this game, but I've also mentioned how it can be a little bit confusing and overwhelming at times, which is true. I mean, it's such a big game. There's so many things you could do within the game that it can be very confusing to a new player. And that's why, you know, I want to take the time today and explain what it is and, you know, hopefully give you a better understanding of what to expect when you download this game for free, might I add in there. I think I threw it in there once or twice. You know, I wish I was good at editing videos so I could get a for free counter to pop up, because I'm sure I will say it again. And I probably won't stop saying it because, you know, the game is free. It's There's no excuse not to try it out, not to give it a shot, and just, you know, figure out if you like it or not. There will be a small paywall that you'll run into early on in the game, but if you watch some of my other videos, or I'm sure there's a bunch of other content creators out there with tips and tricks on, you know, new beginners and stuff like that. That's something that I'll eventually, you know, have up on my channel as far as like a beginner's guide. But it's really an experience, and it's an experience I think a lot of people haven't taken a chance to take advantage of yet. Warframe's been popping off for, you know, a couple months now. It's kind of, you know, come back out and became popular again. It does go through stages, so this is something I definitely want to make sure I preface. There is stages of the game where it might get a little stale. There might not be so much you could do until the new content comes out. And honestly, I think that's part of the game, and I think that's part of the fun in it. You could sit here and you could play this game every day, all day, all you want, grind away, get to mastery rank, you know, 7 plus I think is, or I think 10 is actually it's 30 plus 10, so it's like mastery rank dragon or whatever I think is what the top one is, and then it goes from 1 to 10 from there. You can literally sit there and grind away every single little thing that's available in this game if you really, really want to, which is not a problem. But honestly, I think it's one of those games that you could kind of pick up and put down as you go along. It's at least something that I've done. I mean, I've taken months off, I've taken weeks off, I've taken years off this game, and then I've come back to all the content they've released, and it's like playing a whole new game again. And when the fact that the game is free, that you can do something like that, and you don't have to sit here and buy a $70, and this is US dollars for anyone that's international listening. You know, you don't have to buy a $60 expansion to the game to be able to play the next raid or get the new weapons or get the new, cosmetics in this game. It's something that's always going to be free. Some of the stuff you do have to pay for in the game as far as like aesthetics and stuff like that, but there's actually ways in this game that you could grind free in-game premium currency. The premium currency that people spend hundreds of dollars on, you can grind for free. Free. Now, if you don't have the time, if you got a job, you got a wife and kids, you got a husband and kids, whatever the case may be, it's understandable if you have the extra money to buy some of these things just so you could stay ahead or get ahead. Like, I mean, it's your gaming experience. You do you when it comes to it, but that's truly what Warframe is. And I mean, you can see just the aesthetics of this game with the characters and all having different abilities. And you have some that are mythological with Hydroid or Wukong or Neja. There's a whole bunch of different variations, and they come out with new Warframes. I think it's like every few months or so now, which is insane. Like, I mean, they're still adding content to this game. This game's been out for 13 years. It's 2026. This game came out in 2023 or 2013. And they're still adding content. The community's great when it comes to it, and I think that's what also brings, what Warframe is. It's a community-based game, and they actually listen to the community. It's something that I think is so undervalued with so many games. I'll give you an example of Call of Duty, for example. If you're not a Call of Duty, player or watcher, don't think too much into it. This is just simply an example, but they have a professional league, and then they have a casual league, or not a casual league, but just the casual base of the game. The professional players have complained about things before that the devs just don't listen to. They literally just ignore it. Whereas in this game, I guarantee you, if it was the same devs, they would sit here and take the time to make sure what the community is asking for, it gets done. That is something not a lot of games do, if any. But Warframe does. Warframe truly, truly does. And I really hope that if you are watching this video and you're listening to the words that I'm saying, you could hear how passionate I am about this game, because I do think this game is amazing. I think it's something that everyone should give a shot. I'll say it again. It's free. It's free to play. You don't have to spend a dime on this game if you don't want to. You can. It's not required, though. You don't have to buy the expansions. The expansions are already in the game. All these quests that have come out since 2013 are all in the game. Now, there are certain things that do get vaulted and do get taken away, and you might never see them again. You might see them a couple years down the road, but that's the cycle of the game. And that's really what Warframe is a cycle. And if you're not playing Warframe now, I simply want to just ask you why. Why not? Why not try this game out? Why not check it out? Download it for free. Don't forget it's free. Download it. See, like, it's really not as complex of a game as it seems on the outside. there is some complexity to it, and you will notice it. And I do apologize if y'all hear that. Someone, a neighbor, just decided to mow, which is very annoying considering I am recording a video, my good sir. Um, but that, I mean, that's really just it. I just really wanted to get this video out and kind of, you know, give y'all a taste of what I think Warframe is. Now, there might be some contradicting things that I've said, but I do hope some of it made sense to you, and I do hope you give this game a try. And if you already are an existing player, you should know, you know, the cycle of the game, how it is, what it does. They are making another game called Soulframe, which is the, you know, gonna be very similar, just different style, and I'm sure it's gonna be free. So once again, Samurai Warrior 17, just wanted to get this video out and, you know, give my take on what Warframe is. And I hope y'all enjoy the video. And if you do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. I do appreciate all the support. We will be having a subscriber goal set up here pretty soon. I think I'm at 3 subscribers now, which is, you know, mind-blowing to me, because honestly I started with 0, right? You gotta start somewhere. But the next goal will be 25, so I do appreciate y'all tuning in today, and I hope y'all enjoy the video. And if there's any other questions y'all have, leave them down in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have about the game, about anything. Just leave that comment down below. I look forward to talking to y'all and seeing y'all, and I hope y'all enjoy. And once again, Samurai War 17 here, and I'm out.